This week on Chicago Beer Pass, Nick and I are drinking some Eeek. We talk about picking up the bottles over at Off Color, and then we have a ton of beer news that's been happening the last week or so. Get ready for all that until the end of the episode.
Yeah, because, you know, you get a cork popped out, boop, it just flies like fucking 10 feet. We're like, yeah, let's do it. The legend, Mr. Pete Crowley. I love Pete Crowley, man.
How's that beer? It's what you think it is.
It'll be like the stuff you hear. You ever go to, every time you go to Floyd's, all the music sounds like this. Raw, raw, raw.
Hey, and welcome to Chicago Beer Pass. I'm Brad Chmielewski.
Hey, Brad, I'm Nik White.
And we're drinking some Eeek. It was a big weekend beer release here in Chicago. Figured I'd bring the bottle here, open it up.
Yeah, this is something we've never seen before. Super big brewery, Miller Coors.
Right.
Getting together with Off Color, one of the smaller breweries in town.
Yeah, pretty small.
Yeah, new brewery. So they got together, and you could call this the Miller High Life remix, if you will, right?
I guess so. So they released the bottles on Saturday in Chicago, and this was the only place you could buy them in Illinois. Everything else was getting shipped out of the state.
Yeah.
So kind of cool. Like, it was kind of just a one-off special reason to go to the brewery. I hadn't been there in a long time, so it was nice to get back there.
Same here. I think like during my day job, Miller Coors is like, you know, a couple blocks away. And then when I go home, Off Color is like a mile from me. So this was cool to get. Like, I was excited about it from that standpoint, like of the two participants in the collab. I was like, man, that's pretty cool. And then we know Lisa Zimmer, we know John Lafler. So
going into this event, I had some thoughts in my head. One, I thought it was going to be in like 12-ounce bottles that looked like Miller High Life.
Yeah, because Miller High Life is a crushable 4% pills.
So I thought they were packaging the same way. I thought that was going to be part of the joke, I want to say.
Right.
It is not. It comes in like large formats. I feel like, I wonder if that got changed or vetoed maybe by Miller Coors. Like, no, you're not going to sell the beer to look like our beer.
Right. I wonder how that was. And then like I noticed that at the launch, Lisa was there and she was pouring High Life that John brewed up in Milwaukee.
Okay.
And I was wondering if that Miller High Life was any different from the one you would get in the bottle that you're talking about.
Right.
And like, what's the difference, you know?
So I expected this to be like Miller High Life.
Yeah.
It's not, and I think I'm a little disappointed because I was expecting Miller High Life. I was expecting like a easy, crushable beer.
This is a completely different product, right?
It's a wild ale.
Yeah, it's a wild ale. They bottle condition it with champagne yeast, like Miller High Life, the champagne of beers, but then they use All Colors house yeast to ferment it, right? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's a blend of their house yeast with some wild indigenous yeast, right? According to the bottle. So this has a completely different profile than what I was expecting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's fun. You know, it's cloudy. When you pop the bottle, that champagne yeast came right at you.
Oh yeah. So it went all over the table here. Seeing the video, we got napkins here and everything, trying to clean this up. When I opened my other bottle, right after picking it up, did the same thing, went all over the kitchen. Which makes me a little concerned what's going to happen if this beer sits in these bottles, because these are just caps. They're not like cork and cage or anything. They're just caps that probably could easily come off with a little too much action going on in that bottle.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Sometimes when you get the bottle conditioned beers, a lot of times you get like the cork in the cage, right? But yeah, instead of just a cap. Right, or on the Goose bottle, which is the big 765 like champagne bottle, they've got the cork, but then they got the cap, but they also have like an additional like aluminum seal around it. Mm-hmm. It's aluminum and then it's painted black around it.
Right,
it's like an extra layer. I see what you're saying.
So I'm concerned for what could, but I'm not a brewer. I'm not a packager. I don't know what could happen here. So
yeah,
not sure.
Yeah, talking to the guys there, apparently they like well, you know, Chicago's notorious for like lining up to events and like buying all the beer, and then it hits the market really soon, like the black market really soon. So I think some of the motivation was, hey, let's at least give other parts of the country through 12% imports an opportunity to at least try this beer instead of, because if you make it all available in Chicago, it probably all gets sold.
Probably,
Yeah.
And the fact that maybe it introduces some new people to off color that's like, oh, Miller Coors, I'm interested to know what they're doing here.
Exactly. Yeah. This is a great vehicle for off color. I mean, this is the Miller High Life girl is a timeless, silhouette, right? She's sitting on the moon on the bottle, and then you got the grain mouse on the I really like the logo on this for Eeek. The grain mouse is like, got the telescope, and he's checking out the girl on the moon. But then what I noticed on the I bought a t-shirt, and then they have an adjusted Miller High Life logo as well, that crossed with the red and white lettering.
Okay.
And they've got the grain mouse on that as well. So it's like a collab on the logos too, which I really dug.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Nice. So, yeah, I was there. I only got 2 bottles. I felt like I didn't need more. You could buy 6.
Yeah, you could buy up to 6.
And I don't need my beer limit anymore when I go to these festivals. I just need a couple. I'm not gonna hang on to multiple bottles for a long time.
You're getting old, man. That's what that is. And apparently they use a hop extract in this.
Okay.
As opposed to hops, like hop pellets.
Right. Well, that's Miller High Life does that.
Yeah.
And that's I was told why, and I totally forgot. I'm blanking on it now.
Yeah.
Oh, it's because it's in clear bottles.
Oh.
The extract works differently with the light than the hops do. Like if you're using pellets or real hop or full hops, it's affected by the light a lot more. So the extract has something to do with the light going in the bottle.
Okay. I'm surprised at how different this is for this to be the base beer of Miller High Life. Because Miller High Life, this tastes nothing like High Life. The yeast really makes a huge difference.
I think it's, yeah.
Yeah, this is like a straight up tart, almost sour ale, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, we just dived into this week's episode because it talked about the beer here. But if this is your first time listening or watching, what we do here is we talk about the events we made it to, like the release of Eeek and other ones we come across, and then we dive into the events coming up that you should be checking out.
Oh yeah, we didn't even do the intro. We just jumped right into Eeek.
Just jumped in, yeah, because I was getting a little thirsty too.
Yeah. It's got a good finish too, man. I like how it lingers just a little bit, but then it kind of dries up and goes away.
But you said it reminds you of Apex Predator.
It did when I first saw it, and when I first the first aromas on it.
Okay.
That kind of saison-y, lemon zesty, kind of a little bit of dill in there. It reminded you of that totally out the gate. Yeah.
At the release, I did pick up a 4-pack of Aqua Apex Predator, the wet hopped Aqua Predator. Yeah.
Yeah. Were you able to try that?
Yeah. No, it's still sitting on my floor at my house.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like and don't be surprised, I kind of overheard them saying that the Blue Moon guys got wind that, Miller High Life did a collab with a local craft brewery. So don't be surprised if this kind of they got the itch now, and the big boys are going to start doing some different stuff with some craft breweries.
Like, oh, we can do that and people don't get upset? Like, where's our line here? Yeah.
Yeah. How far can we push this thing?
Yeah,
now?
we'll see.
Yeah.
But that was the only thing I made it to. I'm trying to think that I went to Whirly Ball. A little disappointed by the beer selection this time. It was a lot of fruit beers, beers with either raspberries or coconut or other things in them. That was just kind of like, man, where's your beer? I saw the key lime pie from Shorts, those kind of beers.
Oh.
A lot of vanilla. I don't know.
It's a love-hate relationship with fruit beers, right?
Yeah.
I mean, because beer is so cool on its own that you can have flavors reminiscent of fruit without actual fruit in it. So when you put fruit in a beer, you're sometimes you're kind of like, man, I just want a beer, man.
Right, and when you're hanging out, probably drinking multiple of them, it's like, no, I don't want that vanilla strawberry stout. But that was the only other thing I made it to. Nothing to note over at Whirly Ball this time.
Yeah.
How about you? Did you make it anything else?
I made it to a rum event. I know we're Chicago Beer Pass. With sometimes I went to a rum event, Venezuelan rum called Diplomatico. So apparently they had a bartender challenge. I had never been to the Dawson. That's kind of why I wanted to go.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So they had 8 cities. This bartender challenge is going to be in. The finals are going to be in Venezuela, which I believe is in South America.
Yeah.
Right. So they were saying how they use, a lot of rums are aged in bourbon cask.
Okay.
Right. And then their rum uses cane sugar as well as molasses. A lot of them are just using cane sugar. So that kind of changed the way it tastes a little bit. A couple takeaways he mentioned was that because these guys are from New York, the reps for Diplomatico, and I'm like, hey, is Chicago one of your bigger markets? He's like, no, not really. He's like, New York's the biggest market, and then Chicago, even though we don't sell the most here, this is one of the more influential markets for cocktails, which is, he was like, some of the best bars in the country, like the Aviary, in particular, places like Lost Lake, places like. 3 Dots and a Dash has a $350 cocktail called the Treasure Chest, where they use a full bottle of one of these rums, like a 20-year-old rum, and they put it in a big sharing vessel. Right?
Oh, okay, cool.
So those kind of things. A couple other quick notes. He said they do 60,000 cases of this stuff in France. Like the French are really into rum. They like wines, and then they're really into rum. And the Czech Republic, which is a country of like only 8 million people, they're doing 35,000 cases there annually.
Jeez, okay.
So. Yeah,
okay.
Just a little rum excursion. Nothing much. That's
what did you
actually
think
all
of it?
I did.
Was it good?
I was pleasantly surprised, and then the presentation was cool because it was like the frosted. Kind of reminds you of cognac. It was like the frosted glassware.
Okay.
So you get the bottle, and it's not a clear bottle. It's like a dark bottle with like a frosted finish. It's noticeable. It would look good on your bar or on my bar. If anybody wants to get me one.
Oh, okay.
It's only 60.
They didn't like give you one?
No, they didn't give me one. No, the 20 year is only like a $200 bottle. So there's that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where they do it, was it a dark or a light rum? Were they doing both?
There were, there were 2 guys from the Bad Hunter, and these are just mixologists from all across the city. And they used everything in the spectrum. Some of them non-barrel aged, and some of them 10 to 20 years, just depending on what the bartender wanted to make.
Okay.
So, yeah, between the 8, you got to try them all.
Nice.
And then you get to sample out each one as well. So.
Cool.
Yeah, I think the sweet spot for rums, man, like for me, like it was like a 5-year age and maybe like the 10-year, anything over 10 years, very like resiny, very wood and oak forward.
Okay.
The oak just kind of gets in the way of the rum. So, yeah.
That's good to know. Like at least you have that initial experience to know when you go and have something. Like, the theme is always like, give me the oldest one and the most expensive one.
Exactly.
Like, I don't really dig that. Yeah.
Like their $30 offering, $35 or whatever, was really good, man. He's like, dude, have this with a cigar, after a meal in the middle of winter, and it'll do you right.
Nice.
So
cool. Check out anything else then, or is that it?
No, that's all I went to, man.
Cool. Well then, should we dive into this coming weekend? I think we talked a lot last week on what we had been drinking, and then like glossed over what you should be going to this week. So
for sure.
Let's jump into it.
There's quite a few things to get into, man. Where should we start? Thursday is the 20th.
Sounds good.
All right. So Revolution Brewing, Batch 1000 party is happening on Thursday. So that's at 6 p.m. So apparently they got this Imperial Brown Ale that they aged in bourbon barrels. And they've got it, they call it, one's called Heelan, the other one's called Markland. So it's named after this Icelandic explorer, this guy, Leif Erikson. He landed in North America, and those are the first 2 stops that he landed in. So they're naming the beers after him. So the party's going to have food and then 4 different variants on draft, and then you can buy bottles of their 1,000th batch.
Nice. Okay.
Goose Island's 1,000th batch was Bourbon County Stout.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's a big achievement, going 1,000 deep.
Yeah, I remember when Bell's put out their 1,000th batch too.
Yeah, it's like Expedition or something.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so that's on Thursday. Also on Thursday at Fountainhead is a 21st Amendment party, a BYOT party, man.
Bring your own.
Bring your own T-shirt.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're gonna have 4 beers on draft, and they encourage you to bring everything from like canvas bags, hoodies, scarves, and they'll put the 21st Amendment brand on any of it.
Oh, right? Cool. Okay.
You can meet and greet the co-founder, and they're gonna have 4 beers on draft up at Fountainhead.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Should be pretty good. I haven't had any 21st Amendment stuff in a little bit.
Same here. I knew they were they had their launch like last year.
Yeah, I think even before that. It's been a while.
Kind of came and went, right?
Yeah.
Like some brands launch and then they just stay in your consciousness.
I
Oscar
think
Blues.
the Hell or High Watermelon is a big summer beer for a lot of people, but I don't know, not my cup of tea all the time.
I hear you. Yeah, same.
So that's Thursday as well.
Yes.
Anything on Friday?
On Friday, Mars is celebrating their 2nd anniversary.
What?
Yeah, already. It's called the Mars Anniversary. So they're doing something called Boogie Nights. It'll be a launch party for their latest beer, which is called Boogie Nights. It's a wheat ale, dark wheat ale with Ribois tea, that African tea that they used in Jungle Boogie. So this will be a preview. It's going to run all weekend. It's going to be a preview for the new brewery as well. So you can board the Chicago Brew Bus from 5 to 9. It'll take you from Maria's to a tour at the new Mars Brewery, which is also in Bridgeport.
And are you going to be giving this? You're going to be on
Maybe
the bus?
I might be I might be involved in that, man. I might be your drunk driver.
Well, not driver, right? You're chauffeur. You're not the one driving the bus.
I don't know
right?
if I'm driving, but I might give the tours at Mars. Who knows? We'll see. But yeah, I think we are involved in that somehow. Yeah, so that's Friday. They're celebrating their 2-year anniversary already.
Oh, awesome, man! Wow. Anything else on Friday then, or you got some stuff on Saturday, right?
Yeah. One more thing on Friday is the 6th annual Barrel Aged Malort and Cheap Beer Festival at Paddy Long's.
Makes sense for that place.
Yeah, right. Good alternative event. So I guess regular Malort's not barrel aged, I guess, right?
Right, yeah.
So there you go. Malort is a weird Chicago tradition, man.
I don't think you need to have a fest for that. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, have one and drink some PBR? It sounds like a really bad fest.
They might be doing that thing where they were giving
really
out this.
I don't want to say bad, dangerous.
Dangerous, yeah. They got this. They got this passport for like the Chicago handshake, where like if you go to 5 different bars and order like a old style and a Malort, you get like a T-shirt or something.
Man, if you're going and having 5 shots of Malort in one night, wow, you don't remember that night.
Only time I dig it is in like the Logan has a drink called the Logan at Logan Square Grill, and it's like Malort and like like that Radler from Stiegel, the grapefruit Radler.
Okay.
I think it's really good. That's a good combo for it.
Okay. If anyone's listening to this and hasn't had Malort, it's basically like a bathtub gin. That's kind of where it came from.
Yeah.
It's usually pretty harsh.
So what is it, like a Scandinavian liqueur, Swedish liqueur, or something like that? Just picture like, 1 part gasoline, 2 parts hairspray, right? It's somewhere in there, right?
There are many bars in Chicago that will not sell it. They do not have it because they know people buy the shot for people just to see like the Malort face. If you Google Malort face, that's the thing. Think it's funny. Most people don't like it. And then what happens when you drink Malort, you just kind of get real rowdy.
Yeah.
So it gets you drunk fast.
That about sums it up, man.
Yeah.
So that's that.
So that's Friday also.
That's also Friday. And then I think we can get into Saturday after that.
All right. Over at Blue Island is the Sessh Fest. It's number 2.
You've been struggling with this all day.
Shush. This is their 2nd annual of this. I remember talking about the first one. But yeah, it didn't make it there, but it's happening again. This is celebrating session beers around 4.5%. So $25 gets you a sample glass, as well as basically tickets to as many as you want. I think there's some food. There's some food trucks. There'll be a DJ. Yeah, that's over at Blue Island Beer Company. I still haven't made it over there. I had looked to do a bike ride over there, like, a couple months ago or a month ago. That beer was allowed.
You see, it just vanished. The head just kind of vanished.
But it was like through some shady parts of the south side, and I did not want to bike through that.
Safety first, Brad.
Yeah, so I think if you're going to make it there, drive. But yeah, check out Blue Island. Need to make it over there. It's not too far off the expressway.
It's a good space, too. I really like their space.
Yeah. I think if you it's not too far from the Calumet Fishery. if you're like looking, that place, the smoked meats,
Yeah,
and things like that, or smoked fish, it's over there. Yeah. What else on Saturday?
The fall crawl. This is the bottle shops on Lincoln Avenue are all getting together on the 22nd for a pub crawl. So this will include bottles and cans, promiscuous, and bitter pops, which I haven't heard of yet. Okay. So the rundown is, you 3 stops, you have 2 beers at each stop, you get your card stamped at each stop, and then you're eligible for prizes, like tote bags, giveaways, swag, that kind of thing. It looks like a pretty responsible tour. I mean, because each spot is a mile apart, so you're not going to be completely trashed like on your traditional bar crawl.
On your Malort bar crawl?
Yeah, this is a little bit more responsible. Brewery giveaways and tastings at each location. That's going to start at 1 o'clock at Promiscuous on Saturday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the fest where you get stamps and things at your place, or your crawls that you have to go get a token here, come back, go to this other place? I don't know.
I'm not the biggest fan of that format.
It's a commitment, right?
I would rather you just like what they did with the Wiseacre event. They just said, hey, listen, if you make it to the last stop, we're going to raffle off some really cool shit. Blackhawks tickets, Bears tickets, done. You know? I prefer that. Okay. And then a lot of these places, if a lot of people show up, they're not really built to just be stamping everyone's passport on time. It just gets a little messy. Mm-hmm. But that's in the past. Who knows what this will be?
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Anything else on Saturday then?
No. I think that's it Saturday.
Sunday?
Oh, yeah. Sunday is the 23rd. So at the Chop Shop, the Maria's guys are doing the 39th Annual Craft Beer Awards.
Oh, okay. I think we talked about this, right?
So it's the first ever 39th Annual Craft Beer Awards.
Dumb.
Yeah. It's called what's it called? The Foamy is the award. So apparently they've got a lot of people coming out pouring beer for this. This is like a $35 ticket. It's produced by the Mash Tun and Beer Temple. So it's like a Golden Globe style award ceremony, disguised as a beer fest.
So why is it the 30?
I don't know. I don't get it.
Or 33rd?
I don't get it.
What so does this continue where it's like the 40th and then it's really only the 2nd?
It's weird, right? Yeah.
Or is it always the 39th? But what happens when it's, I
don't know.
It seems like a headache.
Yeah.
And you just confuse people. Everyone's going to ask, who won last year?
Just call it the Illinois Craft Beer Awards. Who am I?
All right.
But that's happening Sunday if you need something to do. That's 4 to 7 at the Chop Shops in the heart of Wicker Park. So that's Blue Line stop. What's that? Milwaukee Damon right there. Yeah.
Very cool. So I think does that do it for all the events? Did you have anything else?
Yeah, that does it for all the events.
Well, we have to talk about some beer news because we had the Great American Beer Fest. We talked about those awards last week.
Yeah.
And I know Temperance did their party, so there's always fun stuff happening in the beer community.
There's a lot going on. Let's start with the good folks at Oscar Blues. So Oscar Blues has 2 locations now. They started in California, now they're in Austin, Texas. They're sponsoring a trip to Germany for women beer professionals. So there's a group, a female group.
So we're out.
We do not qualify for the Germany trip. God damn it, Brad. Next thing you know, there's going to be a woman president. No. No, but seriously, the Pink Boots Society, which is it's been going on for quite a bit of time. They got 10 full scholarships. Oscar Blues is going to sponsor them to go to Germany and learn about brewing.
Nice.
That is very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. The good folks at Terrapin down in Atlanta are partnering with the Atlanta Braves, so they're actually going to have a pilot brewery at the new baseball stadium.
So Miller Coors will have a pilot brewery system at the stadium. For
those keeping score at home, this is pilot brewery number 2. The first one was Blue Moon, which is at the Colorado Rockies ballpark.
Right.
Yeah, and I think they own 10%, and then they went back and bought the rest of Terrapin this year.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So they'll have a tap room and a pilot brewery 5-barrel system that'll open just in time for baseball season next year.
Okay.
Down in Atlanta. The good folks at Revolution. Revolution's calling themselves the largest independent brewer in Illinois.
Okay. Big claim.
What about Dos Bros? I thought Dos Bros was the biggest. Well, maybe they're not independent anymore. I don't know.
They're not, and they're in Arizona now too.
Yeah, so that's hard to keep up with. Oh, so Revolution, big news locally, man. They're recalling 6 of their top selling beers. like a complete recall because of wild bacteria.
Okay.
So apparently all their pale ales are starting to taste like Belgian ales because of this wild bacteria that got into it. So Anti-Hero, Fifth City, Cross of Gold, Eugene, and Unsessionable, that really big 11% IPA.
Oh.
Completely withdrawn from the market.
So they just picking them up and replacing them?
Says they're destroying them.
Whoa.
Yeah. So doesn't really say that they'll give you a different one if you got it. They listed all the date codes, but it didn't say what the action steps were if you have it.
If you have it and bring it in.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's that. Firestone Walker in California is discontinuing some of their Proprietors Reserve series, man. So this includes Wookie Jack, Double Jack, and Opal. They're all going to bite the dust by the end of the year.
Oh, man. I had so many bottles of Opal from
Dude.
the when I won that giant
Oh,
thing
the
of
Tower of Beer
yeah.
from, what was that party, man?
The Cystic
Fibrosis.
Festival. Yeah.
Did they do Festival this year?
I feel like it might be this weekend.
Okay.
When we didn't talk about it.
No, it's not on here, man. Everyone we know is gone from
Heather's
Festival.
not with them anymore, so we forgot. So
Yeah.
I had so much Opal because that was in there.
That's
a
funny.
good beer.
Yeah, I really dug Wookie Jack. That was the black IPA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I guess they're keeping Easy Jack.
Okay.
And that's about it. Oh, Opal, 2015 bronze medal winner at the Great American Beer Fest for wood-aged sour beer.
Interesting. So they just must need to open up space for their beers, kind of just do something else, right?
Yeah, kind of what like Half Acre was saying. Like, hey, man, this is the change we feel we need to adjust because we're not happy. Yeah. So we're getting these beers out of here. All right. So Stone Brewing is laying off 50 of their oldest employees.
Yeah. So I didn't dive into the story, but this was a big issue.
Yeah, because apparently, Stone just opened in Berlin, Germany. They've got a like something in Columbus, Ohio, I believe. Mm-hmm. And then they just announced this $100 million trust fund called True Craft, where don't sell your brewery to the big boys, man. We can get you funded. Yeah. And this was like last month. And then following that up, like, oh yeah, we're firing 50 people. So there you go.
Ouch.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of speculation on why, right?
Yeah, I'm curious to know why. I haven't read like really any real reasons. It just sounds like a shift in focus. Like, I don't know, they don't need as much help back home.
Okay.
Is what it sounds like, right? They need help just in the new spaces and not at the original brewery. That's kind of not needed anymore, I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. They're moving Dark Lord Day to May 17th this year.
Why?
Yeah, I don't know. Probably because it's always cold as fuck and disgusting on the last Saturday in April.
Wait, are they moving it because the distillery will be open then?
Oh, that's very possible.
They'll have like an open date, so fish should be like it wouldn't have been ready then.
Right. And you know how Floyd's is like shrouded in mystery, so they're just kind of like saying stay tuned. If the dates hold true from last year, then the 17th, that's the weekend of Mother's Day, right? The next day is Mother's Day, but then also that following week is Chicago Craft Beer Week.
Oh.
Yeah, if it's the same date as it was in 2016.
I wonder if Chicago Craft Beer Week gets moved up a little bit and Dark Lord Day like almost kicks it off. Oh, you say it ends?
Yeah,
No.
so it's the following week.
The following week was the start of it.
Because Beer Under Glass is always on like a Thursday.
Yeah.
So then the previous weekend, the previous Saturday would be Dark Lord Day. Yeah.
Are they gonna move it? Or they wouldn't move Chicago Craft Beer Week around for an Illinois or for an Indiana brewery.
Yeah, they better not.
No, but I bet it's the distillery.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, but Floyd's is in the Indiana Brewers Guild and the Illinois Guild. So
okay.
So who knows? Let's see. Yeah, we got a lot of news this week. Yeah. Goose Island Clybourne. They are tapping a different variant of Bourbon County every Friday up until Black Friday, starting this weekend, the 21st.
Oh, okay.
So they're going to get into some really good stuff, but to kick things off, it'll be last year's 2015 Bourbon County Stout, which may or may not be infected. We don't know. No, we're joking. We love it.
Just the bottles just infected?
I think it was just the bottles.
Or were kegs infected too?
I don't know. A lot of that going on, man. You got to feel bad for these guys. So Goose and Rev, two of the biggest games in town, and they have some serious issues with their beer, to the point where, I think Josh kind of described it as like a Josh from
Josh Deeth
from Revolution. Yeah, he's like, man, this is like a death in the family. And then Goose went as far as to pasteurize all BCS for the first time ever, all in response to like these infection issues. So it's kind of a big deal. Mm-hmm. It sucks, man.
Well, you're messing around with a lot of weird stuff in your brewery. stuff can happen.
It coincides with big expansions in both of those brew houses. So yeah. Oh, so that's happening every Friday at Goose Island, Clybourne. Speaking of Goose Island, they announced today that this year they're going to do a Proprietors Day.
Right.
So this will be Proprietors is the blend of Bourbon County that's Chicago only.
Okay.
Right. Every year, right? So this will be on November 20th, 1 week before they do the traditional Black Friday launch of all the variants of BCS. Okay.
And this is similar to what was the event where they invited everyone out? You could buy the Rare Day.
Yeah, Rare Day.
Rare Day was like a week before too, right?
Yeah, I think it was a week before. So, yeah, so they're giving you a chance to buy previous variants of prop. It sounds like they're taking, because there is no Rare this year. I don't think there's Rare this year.
They're treating this like a Rare.
They're treating this the way they treated Rare last year.
Okay.
Yeah, like giving it its own day.
I know coinciding with this, there was another part of the Grit and Grain series. I think it was about the maple.
Yeah, so apparently there's a place called like the Sugar Chalet in Ohio where they took it's bourbon barrel-aged maple syrup, right? It was previously used bourbon barrels that held maple syrup and now are going to hold prop. They held prop 2016. So that's a cacao nibs and chipotle peppers are also going to be in that. Yeah. So, there's a raffle. So, or a lottery. So you have to go to Goose Island's website before October 26th, and then they'll raffle the lottery off a system where you get the right to come to Prop Day and buy prop.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah.
So there's that. Playboy announced their best bars in America.
Okay. And I didn't see this article.
Yeah, and then Green River, which is on the 18th floor of the Northwestern University Medical Building.
What?
Yeah. was one of the 10 best bars in America, according to Playboy. Yeah. So this is like super far east. This is over by like Navy Pier. You know how Northwestern has a university over there, like right off Lakeshore Drive? Yeah. So in one of those buildings, like near the top, there's a bar up there called Green River. Some New York guys moved in. They've got there's just a big celebration of like Irish heritage. I went on a Jameson pub crawl that started at Green River.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've been in there?
I've been into this place.
Is it worthy of this list, or does it sound like someone was paid to be on this list?
It's a groovy space, I will say that. Okay. Right, and it's very unassuming because it's in it's basically in a hospital, which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
But I mean, the bar itself is aesthetically, it's a great looking bar. I didn't really experiment too much with food because
comparable to other there were a lot of bars in this city.
Yeah, if we're talking like some of my favorite bars, like I like the Green Lady.
Sure.
I like I like the Aviary. I like places. I like Lost Lake. Mm-hmm. Did it give you that kind of feeling of intense awesomeness? I wouldn't say that. No.
Yeah, I call it someone was paid to be on this list.
I gotta find another descriptor other than intense awesomeness.
Intense awesome. Tremendous.
Yeah. All right. So
okay, Green River. This is the first time I've ever heard this place mentioned. That's why I'm calling some sort lists are always weird.
So yeah, and then there's Playboy.
There's always bias.
There's always bias, yeah.
So that's why I just say I never heard of this place. Not that I have to have heard of it to know, but I just doesn't seem like there's buzz of talk.
If you're a national magazine, and like we talked about this before, and your editor is from LA, and he came to Chicago once last year, and this bar he never heard of was on the 18th floor of some hospital.
It's like, oh, that's kind of neat. A bar in a hospital?
Let's do a list around this. Boom. Yeah. And this bar's on it. I mean, you know what I mean? So, yeah, all arbitrary for sure. Yeah. One more bit of news. Anheuser-Busch bought Northern Brewer, homebrew shop and Midwest Supplies.
Right.
Yeah. So it's actually one of the larger homebrew shops in the country. So for those keeping score at home, this is the same crew that got approved for the merger with Miller Coors and now sells 70% of all the beer in the United States.
Why? Why do they buy a homebrew shop?
I don't know.
Like what? That just seems like it doesn't benefit them at all.
Yeah, I don't know what the connect. I mean, this has to be almost like almost like the Cubs buying like a farm system. Like buying a minor league team or something, right? Just to create relationship, because there's a direct connection between like a lot of pro brewers were home brewers at one point, right?
Right.
This is to create some synergy around some kind of like culture that cultivates talent and then, hires them at AB, right? You would think.
But you're not going to put in, like, here's our Bud Light kit.
Right.
Because, one, it's, like, a lot harder to brew those beers than, like, just your random IPA.
That gets overlooked. I mean, even though, a lot of these beers are kind of boring, Pilsners and lagers that the big boys make, there's a technical expertise there.
Right.
It's difficult to make those beers on a large scale. And that gets lost. We don't talk about that at all.
And it would totally not be cost effective for you to brew a light lager as a home brewer.
And have it sit somewhere in lager for like 9 fucking weeks.
Just spend the 30 cents on the can if you're that like interested in it. So that's a weird purchase.
Yeah. I'm curious to see how that shakes out.
Wonderful, yeah.
Yeah. So
something deeper there. Someone smarter than us looked at this and has a plan.
Yeah. Because it's part of their business plan to like, they're so big that their only course of action is to buy the businesses, right? At this point,
right?
They mentioned that themselves. They're like, it's in our business plan to buy other brands at this point.
You're not convincing new people to start drinking beer.
Yeah, I'll tell you, they're not trigger shy at all.
Well, they're like the biggest. They have so much money. They're the biggest corporation in the world.
Yeah,
They have endless amount of cash.
This Miller Coors thing, I mean, it still baffles me that. I mean, and we know, like we talked about on the show, they won't. It doesn't mean that the brands from Miller are now owned by Bud. It doesn't mean that at all. But just saying that sentence, Miller Coors merged with Budweiser, it's I don't know.
Yeah,
it's a big deal.
All right, well that does it for this episode. That was a lot of news.
Yeah, right.
It's a lot of weird stuff happening. But Nick, as we get out of here, where can people find you? Get in touch.
Right on, man. I'm on Twitter at Nicosio.
And I'm on Twitter at BRAD. Chicago Beer Pass is on Twitter at Chicago Beer Pass. Website chicagobeerpass.com. All the episodes are posted there. Our Facebook page /Chicago Beer Pass. I know we're always posting photos and links to other events and bottles we're drinking, things like that. Lots of fun stuff there. So check that out. That's probably the most active social place we are.
It is, right? What else is there? Instagram and Twitter. We don't really do too much on there.
No, yeah.
If you want to come intern for us and
run our Twitter and set up Instagram for us,
run our hundreds of thousands of followers on those outlets.
But yeah, that'll do it. We'll be back with another episode next week. And hopefully, open your bottles of Eeek in case they may explode. Nah, I don't know if they will. I'm gonna start bad rumors on people, but It's tasty beer. Glad to see this collaboration happen.
Yeah.
Take care.
Cheers.